morning. I am Joanne Lindeque from Iowa Global School. I'm the head of senior primary, and with me I have Mr. Cody Gordon, who is the CEO of It'sOk, and we're going to chat about all to do with It'sOk, the app, and the importance of mental health on a whole. So, Cody, to get going, tell us a bit about what is It'sOk, how do you guys function, what is the use of the app?
Awesome, fantastic. Thanks so much, Joanne. So basically, It'sOk is a mental health and a well-being platform designed specifically for schools. The reason we developed It'sOk is because we believe that well-being, emotional intelligence is a fundamental aspect to growing up, being as effective as you can, and something that needs to be a priority in schools. Basically, It'sOk is obviously tech-based, so it's an app that's available on mobile phones, available on desktops, laptops, and in essence, the point of the app is to get students to check in daily. How are they feeling? Why are they feeling those emotions? Develop their emotional literacy, understand what is happening in their lives, give a chance to them to reflect first thing in the morning. Based on that process, they understand that emotional intelligence, well-being is a priority, something they can learn, something they can develop. Beyond that, It'sOk gives students access to a range of tools to assist them with what they're going through. There's guided meditation to help them practice gratitude, help them with their test anxiety, exam preparation. There's a range of life skills for students to go through. Students also have access to their own emotional history, their own emotional data, so that they can start to understand, what am I feeling? Why am I feeling these emotions? Beyond the students, we also wanted to integrate the parents into the process. So parents also get reports on how their children are feeling so that they can be proactive in assisting their children. The school also receives data analytics. So the school can analyze in, a particular grade or a particular class, what is this group of students feeling, why are they feeling these emotions, and actually pick up on trends before they become a bigger problem and assist the students when needed. So in a nutshell, we look to make well-being a priority in schools and give in-depth reports to assist the students, the parents, and the schools.
So I know from our side, if we had to look at It'sOk on a whole, when we started with you, I think it was around about the beginning of last year, and how the app itself has developed. What has all gone into that development? Has that been feedback from schools, feedback from students? When I say the app's developed, you sort of started off with just being able to track emotions and contact a teacher and we'll get data. Whereas now, if
Absolutely.
certain things come up, they have meditations, they have coping skills, there's so much more to offer. So how did you get to the stage that you are now?
Absolutely. It's definitely been a constant process of iteration and development. And Joanne definitely, in our journey together, hasn't been shy to provide her feedback, which we're very grateful for. And Ava was one of our first schools to adopt It'sOk and has been with us, from the beginning of the journey. So Joanne, you definitely would have seen the progress of the app firsthand. And definitely a huge part of our iteration and constantly making the product better is feedback from our users, from the teachers, from the students who use the platform. One of the new developments that, you would have picked up on is the self-harm and the red flags for the students. So students that are potentially at risk of self-harm or express that sort of feeling are automatically flagged. The school is automatically notified, and you can actually assist that student straight away. And they have a platform where they're comfortable to express that now. I think just speaking to students, kids are very honest with what they like and what they don't like. So in constantly speaking to the students, for example, one of the emotions that students express that they rarely want to express is meh. And, at the beginning of the process, we didn't have meh as an emotion, and we quickly realized that it's one of the most popular emotions for students. So small things like that, as well as big things like integrating guided meditations and things like that for the students to use. But ultimately, we focus on listening to our students, our teachers, and our parents, and deciding that, this is actually something that's going to be of value to the users.
No, we've definitely seen the progress. We've seen how the app has developed, and I absolutely love doing it in the mornings with my learners. Now, speaking about all those mental health things, why do you think it's so important for young children, young adults, sort of anyone between the ages, I would say from 10 upwards? Why is it so important for mental health to be a focus?
Yeah, I think it's so important because from our perspective, mental health is something that can be developed and something that everyone has. And especially in school, if we learn about everything from math to English, geography, we develop our sporting skills every day. We need to place a focus on mental health and well-being, just like we do with other subjects. I think growing up, especially when I was in school and, obviously generations before me, mental health, well-being wasn't a focus, like mental health, what, who, how, what does that mean? And because of, I suppose, that stigma, growing up, you don't have any tools to assist you with what life may throw at you. You may experience the death of a family member, you may lose your job, whatever it may be. If you don't have the necessary tools to help you, or to at least understand that this world of emotional intelligence and well-being exists, it's going to be very tough for you to deal with those situations. So I think starting from a young age is absolutely crucial. Firstly, because you actually understand that this world exists. Well-being, mental health, emotional intelligence exists. Like, hey, here I am. You can use me to help me with your life. So I think just for students to do the check-in every day, to use the tools to understand, okay, cool, this is something that can help me as I grow up, is absolutely fundamental. And obviously, the earlier that you start that process, the better. And if it's something that's integrated into your life from a young age, you do it every day where your school's telling you, guys, this is important. You grow up knowing that mental health and well-being is important. And that could set you along, your own mental health journey, or at least at the very bare minimum, you will know that this world exists. And I think that's what's most
Yeah.
important.
No, I couldn't agree more. So, from my experience just working with sort of this age group, is that the more and more we're integrating mental health into it, the more we're realizing that once they understand, they feel, okay, we can do something about it. So, for example, I had a learner the other day come to me and say, Miss Lindeque, can we have a coffee date? So, I don't know, Cody, if you and I have had a chat about this, but my students are always welcome, my door's always open. All they need to do is ask for a coffee date, and I'll go make a cup of tea and we'll have a quick chat regarding anything that they want to chat about. But just to open those doors, we just have a coffee date. And so it was like, Miss Lindeque, can we have a coffee date? And I was like, okay, cool. And then it was, you know what, ma'am, I'm actually really feeling anxious towards these assessments. And I know I'm feeling anxious. I don't know why I'm feeling anxious, and I don't know how to help myself. And then from our side, just because we have that experience, we have that knowledge, we can then step in and say, well, this is actually why you're feeling this, and this is what we can do to assist. So just being, for learners being able to identify, this is what I'm feeling, has already helped us along the way to assisting them. And on a whole, how have you seen It's Okay sort of work in either? Or if we had to look at it on a general school, if we had to look in a traditional school, how does It's Okay work compared to how it's been working in either?
Absolutely. So I think obviously either being an online school, the integration of a mental health technology was obviously extremely important. I know when I first met with John and yourself, mental health was always a topic that was at the top of the list. Mental health needs to be a focus in our school. It is so fundamental. We care an extreme amount about it. What is the best way to assist our students with that? So obviously, when Ava launched, still is a new concept, online schooling, but I think Ava was definitely one of the first. We see usage increasing and an extreme amount of usage from the students. So that's a combination between Ava's focus on mental health and integrating it into the school system, as well as from continuous use of the platform. Students are actually making a habit of EQ and well-being, because every time they check in with the app, they understand that this is important. I need to do it again. Let me go in, let me check in. And we actually see students using the app outside of school hours as well. And it's not always negative emotions as well. It's okay, obviously promotes, the use of positive emotions, expressing, I'm feeling good for this reason. I had a great test. A lot of the data that comes through on our side is, positive emotions around school. I'm having a great time with my teachers. I'm having a great time in class. So it's great to see that habit actually forming within the students at Ava. And hopefully those students will benefit in the long term from it.
And I mean, Cody, right from the beginning, that was always our goal, is to create a habit within our students of looking after themselves, looking after their physical and their mental health. So just to hear that, I get all goosebumps and I get super excited that from your
You
side,
give
you're
yourself a
seeing
pat
that
on the
in
back,
the
Joanne.
dance. Meanwhile, it's actually not really done from my side. And then,
No,
Ivor
part of it.
has been able to use It'sOk in a lot more than what you ever expected us to. And I just want to touch a bit on that. So I know in foundation phase, they have social emotional learning, and then they don't touch too much on It'sOk because the learners are still learning how to read. They're still learning how to process, with technology and all of that. So we decided not to throw that into foundation phase. But they have social emotional learning, and I have no concern regarding that. Esme from Deerfinter, she has that so under control, and from Foundation Fire's side, that's what's happening. But from the senior primary upwards, we have a lot of other things that we use It'sOk, sort of in conjunction with. I know that I use a lot of the data that we get on a weekly basis from the app. And when I say data from the weekly basis, I just want to give everyone a little bit of context. I get a summary of where each class is at. And from that summary, we can say, on a Tuesday, the whole class was anxious. And then we go back on Tuesday and we say, okay, they had an English test. And from that, we've been able to make quite a lot of changes. So one of the changes that we made was exams. June exams are not called exams. They were called June check-ins. And just with that, we saw the anxiety levels sort of drop quite significantly, especially in the high school sort of side. I don't know what it is with the actual word exam, but we were able to sort of identify that. And then the other thing is we have mind and body, which happens class to class once a week. And we're able to take that data and then focus on where the learners are at. So at the moment, the learners are happy, they're on holiday, they're chilling. But leading up to the holidays, there was lots of I'm tired, lots of feeling that meh. So then we started chatting to them about what does it mean to be burnt out? How do we then start getting out of this meh feeling to start feeling good again? And in mind and body, we were able to focus on that. And the other thing that has come up quite a bit is that anxiety. It is mostly testing anxiety or assessment anxiety, and we've been able to now prepare the learners, which we also have a subject called self-management, where we are able to prepare the learners on how to time manage and how to set up your workspace that works best for you, and just giving them those academic skills to sort of ease the emotional side of going into assessments, going into tests, being able to sort of understand how do I get to the point I want to be in. And then with the mind and body, I mean, just from the mental side, we've been able to touch on those things. But then we've also been able to touch on things like the cognitive triangle, so the relationship between your emotions and your thoughts and your behavior, as well as the physical health side of it. So just having that as like a holistic sort of lesson or education for our learners, It'sOk has really stepped in to allow us to build on the sort of beyond academics, is what we call it at Ivor, to help build up our learners. So that has been really awesome, and we've loved working with you.
Yeah, I just want to say as well that the partnership with Ava has been absolutely fantastic. And, it's one thing building the technology, but to see it in use and to see, obviously, Ava receiving so much value and being able to assist the students, which is, of course, why we built the app, and actually taking the data and being proactive and using that data usefully is fantastic to see. And, I hope the students appreciate all the hard work you guys are doing. And if not now, hopefully in the future, they will realize that you guys cared about their mental health. So that's fantastic.
No, we couldn't have done it without you, so it's greatly appreciated.
Fantastic.